back to another Forex Market Preview. My name is Jason Stapleton, and I'm really glad that you're joining me. And let's cover a little bit of last week. Can you say roller coaster ride? I mean, that's really what it was. Talk about a whipsaw of just back and forth action last week. It was a heavy day after the ECB's comments and everyone waiting to hear what was actually going to happen with that. Then, of course, the announcement comes that there's a plan, but no real clear way to implement it, and nothing's actually scheduled to happen yet. And this has been a repeatable pattern that we've seen out of the ECB. Is a lot of very, very tough talk, and with absolutely no action and absolutely no teeth behind it. So it's a really mean bark without any bite at all. And basically, what they've been trying to do, from what I can tell, is manipulate sentiment by putting out statements. But the statements is as far as it goes. There hasn't actually been any conclusive action that's been taken in order to actually forestall or reverse the situation that's happening currently over in Europe. And so what we've seen is it's affecting every market. We saw, I called, if you're a member of, if you follow me on Facebook, which if you don't, you're welcome to do so. I'll go ahead and throw it up right here now. But if you follow me on Facebook, you'll note that I did call the S&P, the ES, the E-mini futures contract short, and we got a very nice rollover out of that last week. Also, I told you guys about shorting euros last week as well. We covered that, and of course that having a very nice downward move until Friday when we saw a complete reversal of the entire week. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chart and just see where we're going to be looking at into next week. Now, we're looking at the euro chart here. I'll go ahead and zoom in on this so you guys can get a really nice up close and personal look. But, basically I've been watching this resistance line here, and on Thursday after, the numbers came out and we saw this big spike up, and then, the market start to pull back down here, shorting opportunity, and the market continued lower. And then on Friday, a complete reversal. Well, the market's now broken up above kind of this support level here. Resistance level, but it hasn't, well, yes, it barely has gotten above the previous highest high. So, sentiment now changes from a technical perspective. Doesn't matter what we think about Europe and everything else that's going on over there. The charts are telling us that we're looking at continuation to the high side. So you might look for, one of the ways that I will look to play something like this is I'll be looking for maybe a pullback into a 382 retracement. So let me grab my Fibonacci retracement tool here, and I'll go ahead and drag this up. And let's assume that we're going to pull back, right here off a dime. You'd be looking for this 382 retracement. Now, this is what's known as a trend continuation trade, a TCT trade, or what I used to call a Fibonacci failure pattern. Just turns out that we're actually going to be talking about this in the private client group this week. I've been asked to cover trend continuation. We're going to be talking about that and polar flips, which is another thing that another kind of advanced concept of structure, support, and resistance. So we're going to be talking about that in the private client group this week. So for all of you who are private client group members, you have that to look forward to this week as well. But what I'll be looking for is basically a pullback into this 382 retracement to look for long opportunities. And again, you're looking at structure here as well, so being cognizant of that structure resistance level as well is something that I'll watch for. And then, of course, there are some specific rules for getting long as the market starts to show some signs of strengthening. So euro now, last week I was calling it short. We did see a downward movement, and now we see on Friday market changing. Now the next stop around here is 126.50s. That's going to be the next, basically the resistance level we're going to want to watch for. So lots of room here of 300 pips or so of move that could potentially happen in the event that this thing does continue northward. Jumping over at the pound has been in a channel for a very long time here, guys, as you can see. Just right between 157 or basically 154 and 157 is the channel we've been in, and there have been a couple of trading opportunities in here that we've been able to look at, but basically trading inside of the channel and looking for that breakout, and the market has now pressed down. It pressed down into an oversold condition, as you saw here. Very nice. I mean, this is a huge signal. You see a bar like this, and you expect to see continued downward movement. You saw it on the euro as well. I mean, you see a bar like this, it just screams sell me. Because the market tried to go higher, tried to press it up, and just it continued to press it down, which is why, Friday was such an oddity in trying to determine, the real rationale behind the types of rallies that we saw on Friday, is that that's a huge indicator there. And looking at this now, I mean, still looking at trading within this channel, you can't really call this long or short right now. You just have to continue to ride the trend. And right now, the trend is down. If you go ahead and take the trend line here, you can, it's very clear where that trend line runs. And the market continuing to make lower highs all the way down here on the last leg of the move. We're looking at this, of course, on a 4-hour chart. And I would expect until that trend line gets broken to be bearish on the pound. But if we get above that, then of course we're only going to get to about 57.50. This is a pair that if I don't see an advanced pattern in, I'm just going to leave it alone because there's better opportunities that you can find in the market to trade. Taking a look now at the channel on Aussie dollar that we've been watching for quite a while as this market just continues to bounce up. We're right up against the top of that channel now. And again, this is a shorting opportunity. If we get above the spike high here at around 105.80s, that's going to signal a breakout of the channel to the upside. We normally will not see that in this type of channel. You would normally see the market channel up like this and then break to the downside. But it does happen, so we just got to keep an eye on it. And of course, if you're looking for shorting opportunities, last week I told you guys, for trend continuation traders, I said watch for a press back down into these previous structure support levels. I said that's going to be your buying opportunities because I said we've broken out of the last leg of the move. Boom, that was the last high. And I said we're looking for that pullback back down into previous structure resistance, which should then become support. This is, I'm going to be talking about this again in the private client group this week, so be on the lookout for that. You actually got a double bottom in here as well that you could have played this off of. So lots of opportunity here to look to get long, and certainly if you got long here, you're going to want to hold that position. Maybe cover a little bit of your profits here as you've come up into 106.73 against trendline resistance. But again, counter trend traders looking for the short here. Where are you looking to come back down into? Back down into previous structure resistance and support. So we'll be looking for a bounce off of that support level and then potentially down into trendline support or channel support rather. So anyway, this trade worked out exactly as I thought it was going to last week, and again, a very nice move there. Let's take a look at euro yen. Euro yen, same story, basically as euro dollar. We're breaking out to the upside. I see continued upside momentum. Next stop is probably going to be right here at around 95.52. So you can see the shelf, the support level here, and since the market's broken through this kind of resistance level here, we'll be looking for continuation up to around 98.50s for potential shorting opportunities there. Pound yen. Pound yen still did same. It's running basically the same way pound dollar was. The chart setup is just a little bit different. But what we've had here is a very nice downward move and then a very nice rally out of this. And now the market is sitting between here and here. And what we want to do is when this type of setup happens, what we really want to look for here, and actually if we redefine this a little bit better, you'd probably be looking somewhere in here. You got this resistance level here, and then you've got a support level down here. I look for advanced patterns inside these channels, and if I can't find an advanced pattern, I'm basically going to leave it alone, because it's not worth trying to find buying and selling opportunities inside of this channel when the market's non-directional. Because what we look for in non-directional markets is pattern formations. That's what keys us into potential directional moves. So when we look at something like this, I'm not really interested in trading it. Now we do have, if you look here, you can see the resistance, 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 support, 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 all the way back. So there is some justification here for a shorting move on the pound yen. You'd have to drop down a time frame to say, let's look at 60-minute. and look for some kind of double top in here for potential shorts. That's a common CTS trade. Could look for a 2618 trade in here as well, those of you who are 2618 traders. But that's that's pretty much it. After last week, after the whipsaw week, we're kind of going to have it's going to take a little bit for the market to kind of digest what had just happened. But the safest bet is always with the trend. So if you find markets like in the euro where we've seen breakouts of the trend that's been happening on the 4-hour chart, well then the important thing is to be on the right side of that trend, and then be looking for those counter trend opportunities against major structure. Last thing I'm going to say today, and listen up because this is important. There is a 2-day workshop that is happening two-day workshop that's happening next week, and it's being put on by a good friend of mine, Rick Galloway, and he's covering some very, very, very critical fundamental pieces of information on trading and on Forex specifically. Now, this is designed for traders who basically got started the way most of us did, which is kind of, a little piece here, a little piece there, and you kind of try and assemble all this stuff, and then you get kind of an idea of what it is that you're doing, and then you read a couple of books, and then maybe you take a course or a seminar or two. But in the end, what you find is that there are some important steps along the way that you likely have skipped. And there are some important pieces of information that you've probably overlooked or never learned about. And so when Rick and I had our conversation, I invited him out to our offices because he lives here in Kansas City, and I had him talk a little bit about it. He is putting together this 2-day workshop that's basically designed for traders who missed some of those steps. And if you don't know whether you missed them or not, then the important thing is go back and be part of that 2-day event. It's being held in the evenings, so if you live in America, you don't have to try and take off work or do anything like that. I give this a high recommendation, okay? And I don't do that very often. You need to go there, and so there's going to be a link for that underneath this video. So click on that right now and register, because that thing's going to start. I can't remember if it's Monday or Tuesday, but you're going to want to be a part of it. So anyway, that's what we're looking at right now. You can watch the video again if you missed anything. And then, of course, private client group this week, we'll be talking about moving on into trend continuation trades and polar flips. So until next time, guys, good luck and good trading. I'll talk to you soon.